This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to an edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, along with my co-host, halfway around the world, Pryme Tim Hendricks. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. We got that sad news yesterday. Kind of shocked me out of nowhere. I don't know. And the weird thing is, I had just got done watching Lions for Lambs on Saturday because Em wanted to watch it, and we were always making the joke is like, is Robert Redford and Tom Cruise and Meryl Streep ever done a movie together? And I found it, and I was like, okay, no. But yeah, to lose. As I think Meryl Streep said it best, we lost one of the Lions yesterday. For people who don't know, if you don't know, you've been living under a rock. We lost Robert Redford yesterday at 89. One of the we don't say goats much in acting, but I think this be a Mount Rushmore kind of guy. I think, especially old school, doesn't get himself. And we always talk about it. And Em brought up a good point to me yesterday. It's like he's one of those guys that you didn't hear any news about because he didn't do anything wrong. He was, it's difficult today in Hollywood that somebody always does something wrong, and then you lose one that was basically squeaky clean. And I still remember Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and now both of them are gone, and it's like a kick in the. It's another thing. It's another kick in the face. 2025 is having a nice little run through this year, like it was 2016, 2017.
Yeah. The Natural. That's the one movie I when you brought it up, I was like, you know the name, and I was looking through his movies and didn't see too many movies of his, but you know the name, like you said, you never heard much about it because he didn't do nothing wrong. It's kind of like, because our topic is football again. The offensive linemen, if you don't call their name, they're doing something good. So
Exactly.
But yeah, tough one there. Not to keep bringing up sad news, but again, Minnesota got caught with a couple of mass shootings again. Thoughts and prayers go out to them, their families and stuff. It's getting sickening around here. I wish there was a way to cool it off. But with that being said, let's get into it. Get close to the end of our greatest players for each team for the NFL. So got a lot of. I will say I put a lot of beef on these rosters because they had some pretty beefy guys.
Yeah.
So offense, defensive lineman get some love for me this week. So, but let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with the Oakland, Las Vegas, LA, California, Hawaii. I don't know. They seem like they're moving all the way. Let's kick it off with the Raiders.
The Southwest United States Raiders.
Yeah. I got a couple double ups, especially for the Raiders. So
I didn't. I think I've got one double up, and it's in Seattle. It's technically a triple up. So
okay, gotcha. So I mean, I do have a slight curveball, but I'm gonna kick it off with 4 because I think we'll hit the double ups.
I'm gonna. You got a slight curveball. I'm looking at going. You might hit maybe 3 of mine at best. I want to double check where this guy actually. what position he's plays. Yeah, this is Tim doing his homework after he's done his homework. Okay. Yeah, I think three is probably
three, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's kick it off. Let's see.
Well, my number 5 is a guy. If you get a college award named after you, and you kind of have to be on a list, but when you and he went to Florida State. What can I say? And he used Stickum, which they outlawed because of this guy. Matter of fact, but I always see. It's the thing is, he was so good. He was so quick. Even for, and we're gonna play this game. Even for a white guy, he was pretty quick and he could catch. And it was still fun to watch because I think even like when I was young, I think 5 years old, 5, 6 years old, me, not him. I got a chance to watch briefly, maybe a couple years of his career. Remember a couple years of his career. But I liked him. I have the utmost respect. There's a couple of these wide receivers up and down this list that I have the most respect for. My number 5 is Fred Biletnikoff.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oakland had a good list. I mean, they had a big good list. My number 5, I think you kind of pulled this one last week, so I'm going to pull it this week. You got a franchise full of games. You got your own bus. You're pretty much the face of the NFL when you're as a coach. You did things your way. Nice. I gotta go. John Madden, Minnesota's own John Madden.
Nice pull. A nice pull. I wasn't sure if we were doing. And the thing is, I was going to put. I should have put coaches on like I was going to, but that's a great.
There's only a few coaches that really stick out, though. I mean. And Madden's one of them. Madden,
yeah.
I mean, I thought about putting the owner on there, but I'm just like,
yeah. But the thing is, Al Davis wouldn't have been a bad person to put on there because of what he did for the AFL.
Yep. But John Madden, he did it his way, and and he's the one too that, and there's no lie. You can talk to a lot of football teams, a lot of football coaches. If you don't win that line of scrimmage battle, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, exactly.
So you're number 4.
My number 4, a guy that has as a quarterback has taken the Oakland Raiders to the AFL championship game. Everyone's thinking, oh, he brought in Jim Plunkett and Ken Stabler. No, I went even older. Probably one of the tougher quarterbacks. This is the tough quarterback before Brett Favre type of thing. Tough quarterbacks. Absolute stud in the Hall of Fame. My number 4 is Otto Graham.
Yeah, I saw him on there. My number 4 is my double up. Give some love to the offensive line. You follow up John Madden, you got to give some love to the offensive line. I'm going Art Shell and Gene Upshaw.
One head coach and one former NFL PA.
Yep. Your number 3.
My number 3, I remember the first time I ever saw his rookie card. It was 87, 88. Might have been his first rookie card. I might be wrong. It wasn't an 86. I know that. Because I had a bunch of that. But wore number 75, cut his jersey, put the neck roll on. I mean, he made you want to play defensive line. He played defensive end, crew cut and everything. Now he's working for Fox. Got 2 kids that played the game too. And Chris and I don't remember. They didn't play. They didn't play long enough to play to make me remember. I know one played for the Bears, one played for the Rams, but then became an actor. It was really weird there for a brief minute where he played opposite of Christian Bale in Hard Rain, I think I want to say, and then he did Broken Arrow opposite of John Travolta. My number 3 is the defensive end, number 75 himself, Howie Long.
All right. My number 3 is your number 3, Howie Long. Yeah, that guy is, beast. His sons, Jake and Chris Long.
Jake's the one that played in Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yep. All right, your number 2.
My number 2, God, if I remember him from college. Briefly, I remember him from college. He went to Notre Dame. Notre Dame? Oh, man. Okay, I shouldn't have said anything. Spent his entire time in Oakland, Los Angeles. If it weren't for this guy, Fred Biletnikoff would probably be the best wide receiver in the organization. The guy is absolutely consistent. Absolutely, probably one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league. Never gets hurt. I don't remember him spending more than two weeks on the injury list. One of those guys that helped his quarterbacks become better quarterbacks. Too bad he couldn't help Jamarcus Russell. That guy was just trash. And then you pair him up with the greatest of all time for a Super Bowl run, which was even more weird because he loses but they lost to Tampa Bay. But you put Jerry Rice on the other field, so you don't have to worry about having your number 1 guy not get double covered all the time. But my number 2 is Tim Brown.
Rice was on that team?
Yep.
Oh, I don't recall that, but my number 2 is your number 2. Like you said, if it wasn't for this guy, Biletnikoff would probably be the best receiver. But yeah, Tim Brown. Your number 1.
My number 1. USC pumps out wide receiver, pumps out running backs like Illinois pumps out linebackers. It's what can you say? I was a little disappointed that he ended up playing in Kansas City. You don't go to your rival. That's just a no-no in most anything. But you paired him up alongside Bo Jackson. You got probably the best backfield tandem in history. What else can you say? Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Allen.
Well, I doubled up here. Marcus Allen's definitely one. I put Bo Jackson there too because I don't think you could talk. And the thing is Bo only played 6 games a year, and he still racked up almost as many yards. And if you could have got Bo and Marcus Allen together,
Tecmo Bowl superstars.
Yeah. Bo Jackson was untouchable. Tecmo Bowl. Tim Brown's, but yeah. So, we got 3, not bad. Let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. A little bit harder, but I'm going to stick with 3. Seems like 3's been the theme since we've been doing this list. So let's go to 3.
Cincinnati. Let's see. I'm going to push this one. I think I'm going to push. I think this one I can push to 4.
Okay. Yeah, I can see 4 too, but
I'll know right off the rip.
Hold on. I bet you I know what this is. Be right back, guys.
So as soon as we hear the explosion going off in Big B's house.
Oh, what was a spam call? Sorry. Some phone was going off.
Oh, at least you know he didn't take it to school.
No, he's not allowed to.
Oh.
But all right. Cincinnati Bengals, you're going 4, I'm going 3. I'm going to start with number 5. I think he's I the only reason I put him on this list is because I think he's more known now for his commentating. So they bring up his being a Bengal. I'm going number 5, Chris Collinsworth.
He went to Florida, and I still can't stand him. He's a lawyer?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if I trust anybody getting a law degree from UF, but okay.
Yeah.
We might not get 4.
We got a good chance.
We got a chance.
All right. You're number 5.
My number 5, probably the most consistent running back that Cincinnati ever had. The guy was it was a guaranteed 1,000-yard back every time he went out and touched the ball. Probably so. And the thing is, he's so underrated, so undervalued. And then he goes to New England, and I can't remember if he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots or not. But the guy was a threat out of the backfield, and I'm not saying Kajana Carter because that guy just got it. That guy had a terrible run. I don't know why Dallas never thought about picking this guy up, but I knew why Indy never did, and I knew why Minnesota never did because we all had our running backs. But my number 5 is Corey Dillon.
Yep, number 4, I got Corey Dillon. Like you said, it was a fantasy team's, godsend if you got him on the team because, like you said, he was always consistent. You hated playing against him, but on the field, like you said, he was a threat coming out of the backfield. He was Mr. Consistent. I don't know if he won because that was the year that was he there with Moss.
I think he might have been there with Moss. Moss is Super Bowl.
Yeah, so they didn't get the ring that year, but yeah, Corey Dillon, that's one thing with Cincinnati. They've had some pretty decent backs. You talk about Kajana Carter, who was supposed to be good, but couldn't get out of preseason games healthy. So
yeah, he was. I've watched enough what if videos about players, and Kajana Carter is the one that kind of hurts.
Oh yeah,
kind of expected him to be everything.
Yep, you're number 4.
My number 4. Well, what can you say when a guy decides to propose to a cheerleader on the sideline, decides to put on his own gold jacket to go to the Hall of Fame, and right now it's the Hall of Fame of 1. The thing is, I respect the guy because, even though he was cocky, he put up the numbers, and I still remember him trying to block Ray Lewis. He got laid out. And I thought that is, you're writing your own death warrant when you do that. The thing is, he was starting to get old is when he changed his last name to a Spanish version of his number. And he'd even do it right, which makes it even weirder because he called himself Ocho Cinco, which is 8'5", and not Ochenta Cinque or whatever. It's easy for everybody else to say. I took Spanish, but poorly. But a guy I think is going to get in the Hall of Fame eventually. I don't think his numbers are quite there, but another guy another guy in fantasy football that was a stat guy that you needed stats, and you had Chad Johnson. You guaranteed your stats.
Unless I had him.
Yeah, unless you had him, and then nobody got their stats, and everybody else looked like a field day. But my number 4 is Chad Johnson.
My number 3 is Chad Johnson. Yeah, Chad Ochocinco, whatever you want to call him. I honestly, I don't know if he'll get into the Hall of Fame. There's so many good receivers out there. And if anything keeps him out, it'll be his ego. But like you said, proposed to a cheerleader, put on his own jacket, changed his name. I mean, if he would have just kept it to football, I mean, I think if he played in today's game, all that stuff works out. He's a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Works out,
but I just realized I forgot somebody on this list. But all right, you're number 3.
My number 3, I was lucky enough to see him play live. I was in the stadium and you're going to say this is a Cincinnati Bengals thing. I saw him live when I saw Packers versus the Jets game. That's matter of fact, that's the same day I met Pete Carroll. He's a lefty, and it's just he got my other quarterback from that team, that 80s team is on this list too. But he went up against a San Francisco team that was literally blowing teams out of the water, and that team just decides to only hang 20 against a great Cincinnati team. But it was because of the quarterback, because they lose Tim Crumry on the first drive, in that game to a broken leg, which is still probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in a Super Bowl game. But now works. I want to say he's working with CBS.
Yeah.
But he and Phil Simms like to bicker at each other. But I think they're best friends in real life. And I know he has a morning radio show in New York too. I actually like listening to him. I really do. I like him better than I like Phil Simms. But my number 3 is Boomer Esiason.
Yep. Number 2 for me, Boomer Esiason, the hefty lefty. I mean, not the true hefty lefty. There's the arena guy, but you gotta like those lefty quarterbacks. Yeah, he ran into some, buzzsaw team in San Fran. Just couldn't get out of his way sometimes. But what else can you say? Your number 2.
My number 2 is the original quarterback that took the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl to lose the first Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. What can you say? This guy, I had his rookie card, and he had a 1973 Topps rookie card, and I had about a half dozen of them things, going about $35 a pop now. But this guy was the face of the franchise for up until Boomer and Ickey Woods, and it was fun to watch what he could do. As a matter of fact, you kind of brought up his name, his name when you brought up in the backstage when you were talking about a former wrestler of WWE. But my number 2 is Ken Anderson.
Yep. So my number 1, again, gotta give the love to the offensive line. This guy's the anchor, Anthony Munoz.
Well, I haven't said it all day, so might as well go ahead and start saying it now. It's not C2C unless you're sniping.
Really, I got you.
What can you say? Probably the greatest offensive tackle in NFL history. Yeah, I will fight. I will die on that hill. I think Anthony Munoz is the GOAT lineman of
that could be a good conversation because there's another offensive lineman I think is right up there with them.
I've got another one on his list too. I think somewhere down here too. But yeah, I thought of Anthony Munoz when I put this list together of teams. The first person I thought was Anthony Munoz.
All right. Well, let's go to let's stay on the AFC side. Let's go to the Denver Broncos.
Ugh.
Yeah, there wasn't too many, so this could be
4.
There wasn't so many. I could say 5, but
I could honestly say 5. Are you doubled up?
No, I'm not doubled up anywhere.
Oh, neither am I.
I mean,
I can honestly see. I can at least see 4.
I can see 4 too, but this would be a list that if we went 5 for 5, it'd be this team right here.
I think, and honestly, I think we could go. Oh, I'm not going to call that shot. I'm so not going to call that shot.
Oh, go!
We got to go. We could go immaculate, but I
think. Well, because you're kicking it off.
Yeah.
The 5 is going to be the spot that's, of course, it's going to be the spot that would determine if we have a chance for 5 for 5. But go ahead.
Right.
Let's hear your 5.
Well, let's say if I say defensive back, how quick do we kill this?
He's still there.
Still there. He's still there. Maybe not.
What's up, Kevin? How you doing, buddy?
But my number 5 is a defensive back. I remember this guy quite well. Was lucky enough to win a Super Bowl against the Packers, but has lost a lot of Super Bowls. But I still remember I think it was a Sunday night. It was a Sunday afternoon game. Technically, it would have been if anybody knows anything, for especially you and I who live in the Midwest, and like Kevin here as well, who lived in the Midwest, where we call it the 4:00 game. And there was a 4:00 game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. And at this point, this guy was probably considered the second hardest hitter in the NFL, right behind Ronnie Lott. And he took on Christian Okoye and got knocked stupid. And that is the only time I've ever seen this guy get knocked stupid in my life. I love watching him play because This is the reason I didn't play running back. This isn't the reason why I didn't want to play wide receiver. This is the guy I didn't want to play tight end because I didn't want to get laid out horizontal. And it's because of this guy. My number 5 is Steve Atwater.
Oh, you went that route. Oh, yeah, 5's out.
You and Chip
my
Bailey,
number
didn't
5 is and linebacker / that his last. Yeah, he still might be in the league, but I know he left and went to the Chargers, and I thought that was a great move for him. I think it was the Super Bowl run it was the Rams. Super Bowl run that the Rams had. And I thought that move was fitting for him because he didn't have to be the guy in the defensive end. He could come out and just be himself. And then I think he went to Buffalo. So I got Von Miller at number 5.
He is now officially on the Washington Commanders.
Oh, really? Okay. So
I didn't know that either.
Wow. Yeah, Von Miller.
So my number 4, I don't remember how many times we've doubled up on teams, doubled up players on teams, but I know this guy shows up on the Ravens. Did we do the Ravens yet? Hold on. We did the Ravens last week, I think, now that I think about it. I know I got a couple players that I've doubled up on another team, so this isn't too much of a shock.
I think we did the Ravens a couple weeks ago.
Probably, I think at the time, we said arguably he's in the top 5 tight ends of all time. Still, to me, to this date, still had probably one of the best Hall of Fame speeches I've ever given. No, he's ever given. Anybody's ever given. I think that might have been one reason how his brother got in this year, made him go back and relook at the stuff that he did. But what can you say? This is the guy that helped John Elway win 2 Super Bowls, and then goes off to Baltimore and wins 2 more. But my number 4 it's 1 more. No, it's 2 more. I had to think about that. No, he wasn't on the Flacco team. It's 1 more. He was on the kit. He was at Kitna. Yeah, that'll get me shot. He was on the Dilfer team. But my number 4 is Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, what can we say? Like you said, I mean, he's up there, greatest tight ends, great speech. I think between him and his brother Sterling, they always bicker on who the better one is, But yeah, Shannon Sharp by far. You're number 3.
My number 3, my biggest memory of this guy is hearing interviews about the Super Bowl against, I want to say, Atlanta, and they made the comment about Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan going, I can't see anything. Well, we don't need you to see anything. We're just gonna hand you. We just need you as a decoy. Okay, another one of these guys that are much like Corey Dillon was Mr. Consistent, but then again, his career was short, a lot like Barry Sanders, a lot like Michael Irvin's, where there wasn't hell. Even Gale Sayers had more years in his career. And is he in the Hall of Fame? I think he's in the Hall of Fame. I can't remember, but it's always they always make a comment about he didn't play long enough. But to me, the greatest defensive Denver Bronco running back of all time, on the list for a reason. My number 3 is Terrell Davis.
Okay. My number 3, this is the guy I thought you were talking about when you talk about defensive backs. And, I know when he played, you didn't want to throw the ball because he was either going to get slapped away, intercepted, or the guy was going to lay out the receiver. My number 3 is Champ Bailey.
Yeah, that was the one after. But the thing about that, Champ Bailey would have been 6 on my list. It was guaranteed. Actually, Carl Mecklenburg would have been 6th, and then Bailey would have been 7. Well, it's not C2C unless you're sniping for my number 2. I think it's your number 5. Yep. It's strange that he had to go somewhere else to get a Super Bowl, to get a Super Bowl ring. But yeah, what can you say about Von Miller? I think he's at Washington. I think he's in Washington now just to put the team over and try to get them to give him that veteran presence. But I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been to the playoffs. Now here's what you got to do to get there.
Yep, I think you're right on that. My number 2, well, you had him at 3. I have him at 2, Terrell Davis. What can you say? Another guy that, you look at the position. Yeah, he played short, but that's the average span of that position, running back. And at the time when he played in the 90s, early 2000s, that's all you do is give him the ball. It was one running back. Now it's 2, so maybe his career goes a little bit longer. But yeah, Terrell Davis. And go ahead, you're number 1.
Go ahead. I hate this one. Go. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this now. I will. As a member of the fan club of the Baltimore Colts, I will trade that pick to you. So go ahead. I will.
Well, I know you're not the only non-fan of his. I know a buddy of mine that I rip cards with. He's not a fan of this guy either. And I would assume New York Yankee fans aren't happy with this guy either. But John Elway.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll even give you the snipe on this one too. I can't.
But what can you say? I mean,
I know. The only game I ever saw in Minnesota was Denver versus Minnesota, and Elway was the quarterback.
Yeah. All right, so let's move to Seattle. Go a little bit, I guess.
The former AFC team.
Yeah, another former, AFC, NFC, yep. Let's go with Seattle Seahawks. A list that, there's some good players, but I mean, I'm going to play conservative here. I'm going to go 2 because it's one of those where they were good, but are they the face of the franchise type thing?
I'm tripled up on one.
Oh, geez.
I say 4.
Well, you're going to say 4? Okay. Well, I'm going to start it off. Yes, he's still currently playing, but, in his prime, he was the face of the franchise. I'm going Russell Wilson. You're number 5.
My number 5 is my triple up.
All right.
When you have a defensive backfield like the Legion of Boom.
Oh yeah.
What else can you say? This was a defensive backfield that was scary. You didn't throw against. Heck, you didn't throw against. You didn't run against because these guys were trained to. They were trained assassins. They were trained to take your head off, and by any means necessary. And I've got 3 members of that group because I can't remember the 4th. But I've got Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, I can't remember the 4th one either on that. Well, my number 4, linebacker. You talk about not running. This is another guy that you didn't want to get hit by. Probably still wouldn't want to get hit by him. But my number 4 is linebacker Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, that was the only one I wish I had put on the list. I could have put him on with the Legion of Boom and then it would have been safe.
You're number 4.
My number 4, it's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 4 is your number 5, Russell Wilson.
Oh, okay. My number 3, give love to the big guys up front on the defensive side. Cortez Kennedy.
Yeah, I saw that one. I remember that one.
All right, you're number 3.
My number 3, a running back who, God, I can't even remember where he started at. But I'm just here so I don't get fined. So, that's why I do this show. I still think that's still probably one of the greatest things I ever heard. He's the guy that basically was the domino that fell on the 7-9 wild card team against the Saints. had that run against the Saints that actually showed up on the Richter scale, because how loud the Seattle the stadium in Seattle got. I remember him in Buffalo. I think Buffalo was a team that drafted him originally.
Yeah,
And to think that there was rumors that he might be going. There was a rumor that he might have gotten traded to Green Bay. Think if they had gotten this guy in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Well, the fact is, I think that was one of the reasons why they were talking about it, because Aaron Rodgers went to college with him at Cal. But this is a guy I love watching this guy. This guy just hits. He reminds me a lot of Earl Campbell. He hit a lot. And then I remember they had him mic'd up on the sidelines one time, and he was talking to people going, would you want to come to Compton and give, because it's like Thanksgiving, you want to go to Compton with me to give out turkeys. And that right there had me, I was a fan of his for life. My number 3 is Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, probably the guy with one of the meanest stiff arm moves ever. My number 2, what can you say? Receivers. I mean, everything can be said about this guy, but Steve Largent.
Now I'm wondering who you got at 1.
All right. You're number 2.
My number 2, the guy that was before Marshawn Lynch. This guy, another guy, broad-shouldered, big shoulder, but could get small going through the hole. Was an amazing bet to watch. Another one of those guys you've had on fantasy football. He was guaranteeing you points left, right, and center. Won the Madden cover guy. I think it was 2006, if I'm not mistaken, 2006 or 2007.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Then just another guy whose career got cut short. But it was fun to watch. My number 2 is Steven Alexander.
Yeah. My number 1, giving some love up to the big guys up front, because reading his stats, being an offensive lineman, 13 years, only allowed 23 sacks in his career. There's rumors that he only got called for 9 penalties of holding. Walter Jones.
I knew exactly where you were going. As soon as I went, oh Christ, I forgot Walter Jones.
I mean, that's unbelievable to, especially the holding side of things. But
yeah. Well, it's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 1 is your number 2, the senator of the great state of Oklahoma, Steve Largent.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I love Steve Largent. But at the time he retired, he had pretty much every receiving record in history.
Yep. And the guy that I rip cards with, he's a big Seattle fan, and every time he pulls a Largent card, he's always like talking about how great he is. So
I can't argue with it.
Nope. All right, let's go to Atlanta. What can you say about this team except they knocked out my 98 Vikings?
So the face of the franchise is Gary Anderson.
Yeah. I got a double up here on this one, but
I don't. Wish I did.
I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go 3. I mean, they were decent. I can see 4. So, all right, Tim, let's kick it off. You kick it off with at number 5.
My number 5 is the innovator of the Dirty Bird himself. I think another guy who gets lost. Matter of fact, he showed up in Los Angeles for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think after the Falcons, his little stint in the Falcons. But this guy, I think, was drafted late too, and made the most of his career, made the most of his pick where he was drafted. But another guy, if you had him in fantasy football, was a guy you just there was a 3-year period there that if you had him he was the best thing since sliced bread. Matter of fact, I think he's on a Madden cover too. I know one of these 5 are. That should tell
Actually, I
you.
think 2 of them are, but depending on your list. But yeah, I think Anderson was on the cover. I think he was on one of the first ones.
Thank you. My number 5 is Jamal Anderson.
All right. Well, I have an Anderson at 5 too, but gotta give love to the kicker. What can you say about kickers? I mean, some of them are good, some of them are average. This guy was above average. A kicker too that you didn't want to take too early, but you wanted the points in fantasy, so you kind of try to sneak them in. Morton Anderson.
So I made that joke about, hey, you got Gary Anderson as your, and then he says I got an Anderson on the list, and then I couldn't stop myself. I'm like, great, here it comes.
All right, you're number 4.
My number 4 is a guy that I know was on a Madden cover. Matter of fact, for the longest time, they said he was the greatest Madden player, the greatest player to ever have in Madden for a 3-year period. And I don't know. I always had problems in Madden with quarterbacks who threw left-handed. What would his numbers have been like if he decided not to do illegal things and have himself put away for a while? Even that was still a better career than his brother Marcus. But I like this guy. I always remember the commercials about him throwing the football out of the stadium.
Yeah,
I thought those were funny. And to think that they didn't have a great quarterback up until they had Chandler, but they traded away Brett Favre, had Chris Chandler go to the Super Bowl, and then you get this guy, the guy who I thought was an anomaly. This guy is what every quarterback's trying to be now, and this guy was doing it back in the early 2000s. This guy is a freak. This guy's a glitch. This guy was scary to watch, and I was so glad that he never played Florida. But my number 4 is Mike Vick.
Yeah, Mike Vick is definitely a quarterback that put some meat on them, and you're getting the quarterbacks now, the ones that can run, still throw. One of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. Yeah. My number 4 is my double up pair of receivers. Consistent. I mean, kind of ego on their side a little bit. 4A is Julio Jones. 4B is Bad Mood Rising himself, Andre Rison. You're number 3.
I'll give you half a snipe on that because I didn't put Rison on the list, but my number 3 is your number 4A.
Yep.
4A Julio Jones.
All right. Well, at number 3, the Dirty Bird himself got the coach to do it after they beat the Vikings in the championship game. I got Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, when I saw Dan Reeves do that, I'm going, there should be no team that beats him, and then they ran into Denver.
Yeah. All right, you're number 2.
My number 2, we said that Sterling Sharp. Shannon Sharp is a top 5 tight end when he was both with the Baltimore Ravens and the Denver Broncos. This is my other team that I've got on 2 different lists as GOATs in the franchise. One, I was lucky enough to meet the guy at Hollywood Studios in Florida. But Kansas City Chiefs, Atlanta Falcons. But the guy is what you say. He is what he is. What he was. He was a basket. And the funny thing is, he was a basketball player in college.
Yep.
And this was a guy that proved that basketball players are probably, don't say this too loud, but basketball players are probably better athletes than football players in those positions. Look at how many basketball players played football afterwards and became superstars. But my number 2 is Tony Gonzalez.
Wow, I wouldn't have put him up there as a great. I mean, maybe if he had more of a career, I don't know. No, but for Kansas City, definitely. My number 2 is a guy that he could kick return, he could punt return, he could interception return. He wanted to play receiver. He's the only guy to play both sports in the same day. Deion Sanders.
Only guy to play a Super Bowl and a World Series.
Yep. Yep. You're number 1.
Yeah. Well, it's not C2C unless you're sniping. This should be automatic. My number 1 is your number 2.
Oh, you did have him on there. I was wondering if you were going to have him on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say about Dion? I mean,
What can he say? He was
my
scary.
number 1, probably one of the coolest nicknames in sports. Granted, I don't know how he got it because I didn't think he was that big of a contributor, or not contributor, but clutch player. But I think he's, when you, especially for this generation, you'd say Atlanta Falcon, he's going to be the first one that comes up. Played for your Colts, Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. All right. So we got our 6th team. We got one more to go after this. Arizona, St. Louis, LA, Cardinals, wherever they want to be.
River.
Yeah, this was another team that just didn't have the big name players, but I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna play a little gambling here, but it would not surprise me if we only get 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got 4, but okay.
Well, we'll see. But I put this guy on here. His career was cut short. Life was cut short. But I think you talk about the Cardinals. I think you got to put him on almost any type of list that he qualifies for. My number 5 is Pat Tillman.
Yeah, I don't put him on the list. I understand why you put him on the list. I just couldn't.
Yeah. But all right, you're number 5.
But the funny thing is, I do have a Pat on this team.
All right.
It just happens to be a guy who played for the Cardinals, and if I'm not mistaken, for the Vikings for a little bit. Yep. And he's one of the first 98s I got in Madden 2024. So I'm all about that. But what can you say? The guy was a stud cornerback. It's just absolutely thrilling to watch. Unbelievable. Retired. He retired last year?
Uh-huh.
I thought he retired. He retired recently. I know that. He's not in the league anymore. But my number 5 is Patrick Peterson.
Yeah. He was with us a few years, yeah. So my number 4, again, back in the day, it seems like they always had some cool nicknames. And, I think this nickname fit this guy. But Dick Lane.
He doubled up from the Detroit Lions.
Yep. Your number 4.
My number 4 was the reason why I almost didn't watch football, or at least watch football with the TV off, with the volume off, because listening to him was almost like a stick in the eye. And then they put him on Monday Night Football, and I just stopped watching Monday Night Football altogether. But what can you say? This guy was the hog molly that was part of early St. Louis Cardinal days. Hall of Famer. Michigan. No, he went to Ohio State. Don't quote me, because I'm going to piss off a whole section of people. I don't know where he went to college. I know he went somewhere in the Big Ten. That's all I know. But a hell of a tackle. Listening to him, sometimes my brain hurt listening to him. But from everything I've seen of videos of him in the past, he was a hell of a blocker. He was something to watch. My number 4 is Dan Deerdorf. Safety.
Yeah, my number 3 is Dan Deerdorf. No, I'm thinking of Larry Zonka. I was going to say, wasn't he part of American Gladiators? But no.
Yeah, that was Zonka.
Yeah. Your number 3.
My number 3 is not C2C unless we're sniping. I had him on my list for the Detroit Lions. My number 3 is your number 4. Dick Night Train Lane.
Yep. Gotta love that name.
That's a great name.
My number 2 is safety. Again, another guy that gets hit hard. You didn't want to throw to him, but you couldn't avoid him because safeties cover a lot of the field. Larry Wilson.
Oh no. I celebrated too early. Oh no, that's like I dropped the football before the end zone.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is a cornerback from the Arizona Cardinals. I remember that he was not a safety, and I saw Larry Wilson and I went, I'm going to hurt for that one. But matter of fact, I think he was on the Denver Broncos for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, if I really think hard enough. But then again, if I think hard enough, I'm going to have another headache like I had last night. But my number 2 is Aeneas Williams.
Okay.
My
number 1, the second Minnesota guy I got on this list, and props to him for being consistent with his answer, being loyal to his team. Everybody asked him if he would end his career in Minnesota. He said nope. One, Larry Fitzgerald.
I almost doubled up on this one.
All right.
To put him up there with Anquan Bolden, but
yeah, I was thinking about it too.
But it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 1 is your number 1. I thought of Larry Fitzgerald right away. It didn't matter who threw to him. He's still consistent. A guy that's, I've got an auto. I have a Larry Fitzgerald auto graded out of 10. So it's a Gem Mint 10 out of 10 auto of Larry Fitzgerald, and it's probably one of my prized possessions.
Yeah. For a guy that, you grow up, being in the sport, and some people dream of playing for their team, and for him to come out, and maybe he dreamt about it, but he just was just like, nope, I don't plan on retiring as a Viking, don't plan on playing for him. So gotta give him props that he,
stayed committed to it. Yeah, he stayed committed to his ideals, and I admit that. I applaud that.
All right, so let's get to our 7th team tonight. The lonely Cleveland Browns. I have Shedeur Sanders as my top 5, all 5. No, I'm just kidding. So, we got the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I 1, 2,
1, 2. I was like, I looked at my first 2. I went 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I've got
a 3.
I'm going to tell you, I have a current player on this team.
I do too.
Same guy. 4.
Probably
4.
Yeah, 4. All right. Well, kick it off with your 5th guy.
My 5th guy is my current is my still playing player. What can you say? This guy almost dented almost dented in Mason Rudolph's head with his own helmet. But after that, he has become and then Aaron Donald leaves, and this guy has become the most dominant pass rusher, I believe, in the NFL today. What can you say? This guy is scary. This guy's scary good. And the thing is, he's built like a linebacker playing defensive line, and he's so quick. And I wish I have seen him. I wish I have seen his guy live. But he is something to watch. And he's going to cement himself as probably one of the top 10 pass rushers in history because it's the way he's going.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. My number 5 guy played 2 positions. He was brought in for 1, but ended up playing the 2nd position out of need. Browns brought him in as a kicker.
Oh,
Turned out to be an offensive lineman. Had to put him on the list just for that. Lou Garza.
Lou Groza. Oh my gosh.
When I saw he was an offensive line kicker, I was like, I got to put him on the list.
Lou Groza's got a, and the funny thing is, Lou Groza has a college trophy named after him for best punter in collegiate in college.
Yeah. All right, you're number 4.
My number 4. I don't know if you watched did you watch any of the anything about, what was it, the 83 draft. No, the 85.
Ah,
draft.
yeah,
About
I remember watching one of those.
it was about the whole supplemental thing and about this quarterback, and the reason why they drafted him in the supplemental quarter in the draft was so that Minnesota wouldn't get him, because I think you guys are running around with Tommy Kramer at the time, and they're like, oh, because Minnesota was going to take him in the first pick, and anybody knows that the supplemental draft happens halfway near the end of the regular season, the season before.
Yep.
And they kept saying that, well, the Cleveland kept saying that we had him getting ready for a contract and he could do this if we take him in the supplemental draft, and Minnesota called their bluff, and this is how Minnesota doesn't get this quarterback. But then he became probably the most consistent quarterback that Cleveland had ever.
No.
Oh God, no. Did I see Tim Couch play? No, I've been to a Cleveland game too. Might have been Tim Couch, but Maddox is also no, he's not a Hall of Famer. But this is the last true I think this is honestly the last true quarterback that Cleveland has had that has been consistently their starting quarterback. It is strange, but my number 4 is Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, he was the one. He's definitely the one last consistent quarterback. He was the one that was the face of bringing them back to Cleveland, getting the naming rights and all that. Yeah, I could not think of his name to save my life. But once it started coming to me, but yeah. But anyways, my number 4, it's not CT unless you're sniping. You got him at 5. I have him at 4. Myles Garrett. I mean, the guy, he's going to be top 10 at least. He's probably top 15 right now, but top 10 when his career is all said and done. Your number 3.
My number 3, Packer fans are going to think that I've mistakenly put the wrong person on this list, and you're going to find out that I didn't. It's great because this guy, because the one that played for Green Bay and St. Louis or Los Angeles is a third now. No, he was always a third, but
he was a crybaby.
Thor himself over there in Green Bay. I don't know where they thought he'd be cool to give him that name, but this guy was the anchor of the linebackers in Cleveland for pretty much the late 70s to early 90s. One of the headstones for the Matthews family between him and Bruce, because I didn't put Bruce on last week, and I'm not making that mistake twice. And a guy who wore number 57 for Cleveland. I think after Cleveland left, after the Browns left Cleveland, I think he was more brokenhearted than the Browns fans were. But my number 3 is Clay Matthews Jr.
Yeah.
All right.
My number 3, we talk about offensive linemen. I'm trying to remember who you we talk about Anthony Munoz being the GOAT of offensive linemen. This guy up there right with them. I think he allowed less than 30 sacks. You didn't say his name, but he appeared in games. One, Joe Thomas. You're number 2.
It's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number 3. And the running joke that's great about Joe Thomas. Good Wisconsin product. Everybody tells great stories about Joe Thomas, how he never missed a snap when he played for the Cleveland Browns. The play that he got hurt on was his last play that he ever played in the NFL. He holds the record for the most games played by an offensive lineman, consecutive games played by an offensive lineman, most consecutive snaps played by an offensive lineman. One of the greatest linemen to come out of the University of Wisconsin, arguably top 3-4 offensive linemen in history. But the funny thing is, it's the greatest story that I've ever heard is his draft day story, where he was invited to New York to Radio City Music Hall, and he says, "No, I'm going to go fishing that day." And he gets a phone call from the Cleveland Browns while he's fishing, and there's video of it where he's out in Lake Michigan, and he gets the phone call, and he tells his dad that he's now a Cleveland Brown. I still think it's a great story.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something too for him, because that's the whole thing. You're within the top 5. You should be there at draft day, and for him to be like, "Nah, I'm gonna go fishing," that kind of just opened up the door for people not to go to the draft. My number 2. Oh wait, I put that in the right spot.
Yeah.
No, I did.
You're fine. You're at number 2.
Yeah. My number 2, another tackle. Gotta give love to the offensive line. Ozzie Newsome.
He was a tight end.
Tight end, yes, you're right. Tight end. Yeah.
Probably the greatest GM in Baltimore Ravens history.
Yeah. I wish they had him.
I honestly forgot about Ozzie Newsome.
You're number 1.
That one hurts. But not as much as it would hurt if I'd have forgot this guy.
Yeah.
We could go days and days and days. This could be a 5-week conversation. But when Barry Sanders tells you his favorite running back, who his favorite running back is, and who his dad's favorite running back is, you kind of got to listen to him. What else can you say? When the guy goes to Syracuse this is the best thing I've ever heard. He goes to Syracuse on a lacrosse scholarship. He doesn't even go to Syracuse on a football scholarship. I think it was done on purpose. To be honest, I honestly think it was done on purpose. I heard that he was the best lacrosse player in his state, but I think they did that on purpose to get him in cheap. But what can you say? The guy is arguably top 3 running backs of all time. It's crazy. I am lucky enough to have an autograph of his too. And it's just going up after he passed away. The true face of the Cleveland Browns. And he's got to be, because hell, he's got the last name Brown. My number 1 is Jim Brown.
Yeah, what can you say? It's not C2C. Yeah, Jim Brown, definitely the face of the Browns. Definitely another voice to bring them back. You talk about somebody that stays true to the colors and the team. I mean, even after his career, he was true to the Browns. I would almost guess if the Browns called him to coach, he would have been there. If they would call him to, hey, I need you to reach out to this young rookie, we want to draft him, he would have done that.
Did. That was the thing.
He did. I mean, the guy, blood that Brown.
Hell, he was in Any Given Sunday playing a linebackers coach for Lawrence Taylor.
Yep. So yeah, I think you want to talk about a goat of a franchise that stuck true to his colors and his word commitment. Yeah, Jim Brown definitely fits that role. So, all right. So let's get into our favorite subject. I love this subject, the blind 5. Again, we don't know the other categories. Tim doesn't know mine. I don't know his. That's what makes it all fun. So I will go first. I Googled this. I wanted to see what the list was. I'm going to go with the greatest nicknames of sport athletes. There's a lot.
Oh yeah, there is.
I didn't pick out some. I'll tell you right now, I have one baseball, one hockey, and the rest is football.
Okay.
So I'll give you to that. We'll go with my baseball. Gotta pay respects to Pete Rose. Charlie Hustle.
I love that name. I honestly love that name. Honestly, it's got to be one. It's probably the great. I think it's a great nickname because it tells you exactly about the player. It tells you exactly everything. It's one without a question.
The Refrigerator Perry.
Oh, jeez. Golly.
And the name fit him. He was the big
God,
boy.
yeah.
He could not stop him.
Oh, hell, his brother, Michael Dean Perry, was called the Icebox.
Yeah.
3.
Okay. We'll stay with the Bears. Mr. Sweetness.
2. Yeah, you weren't going to get if Sweetness came on this list, it was the only one that was going behind Charlie Hustle, directly behind.
All right. The great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Well, poor Prime Time's going to be at 5 at this point. I've got great one at 4. I love the name. It so fits though, and that's the thing is.
Well, and that's the thing too is if you watch C2C and watch some of our other shows, we talk about goats. The only true goat in sports is Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
You think about half his stats, he's still,
You take out of his assists, you take his assists away. He still leads in points. He still leads in goals. He still he still leads in plus minus. He's a god.
And then you guessed the right one.
Yeah.
I did have Prime Time on the list.
Yeah.
So I mean honestly, I thought of Charlie Hustle. I had him at 5th, but I had Sweetness at 1, Primetime at 2, Fridge at 3, Great One at 4, and then Charlie Hustle at 5.
I've always loved that. I
love the nickname too, and like you said, and if I would have thought of the way you thought of it, he would have been number 1 because that's all you had to say about Pete Rhodes.
Yeah, and it was. I know. I've talked to a lot of people that deal in sports cards and sports memorabilia, and who have met Pete Rose, and they always said, "Oh yeah, he loved the name. He'd love the name Charlie Hustle." He's the only guy that destroyed Ray Fosse at home plate during an All-Star game.
Well,
Dude, it's an All-Star game,
and that clip is played every year,
everywhere. He looks like
Superman at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season.
It's the first picture you see it's the first video you show of Pete Rose when they talk about Pete Rose.
And the thing is I mean, it's sad to say he'll be in the Hall of Fame now, and he should have got his moment when he was alive.
Yeah, he should have got his flowers when he was still alive, and it sucks.
All right, what is your category for me?
So, I think we've said this a lot, where we played a lot of video games growing up. We always talk about video games, and I've only seen you with one system, and I've seen you now. You've told me about you've got a second one, so kind of it works to this little aspect. I want you to rank your top 5 video game systems. I'm just going to go kind of with companies because I could go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's so many.
But let's start. Matter of fact, I said it. I kind of alluded to it. Let's start out with the PlayStation. It doesn't matter 1 through 5, but PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just PlayStation.
All right, just PlayStation General. I will go number 3.
Okay. The one system that you and I seem to play a shit ton out of, Sega.
Yeah, I gotta go Sega. 1, they had some good games. I think they're the first system that allowed you to create your own characters. And I know, we sat there down in the basement in my room. I don't know how many hours we mashed on the Sega.
Yeah. Xbox.
Never been. Well, what else can you put up there? I'm going 5 with the Xbox. I just do not like the controller of the Xbox.
What's wrong?
I don't know. Well, it's gotten smaller, but when it first came out, it was pretty big.
Oh yeah, that thing was like playing around with a Mercedes-Benz hood ornament or something.
Yeah.
That was huge. The Nintendo.
Nintendo number 2, another system that me and my friends would mash on nightly and consistently. And
honestly, if it wasn't for like Tecmo Bowl, I probably would have never played too much for the Nintendo.
Yeah, it was Tecmo Bowl. It was Bases Loaded, Baseball Stars,
RBI Baseball,
Baseball, Mario Brothers, of course. Yeah. All right.
And the last one that you didn't pick was the Atari.
Well, Atari is a good one. Atari is at number 4.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, it's still classic. There's still some games that I'd like to. I should have it on my little
You probably do.
remod system here, but I should show Jackson some of those old Atari games.
Oh, those are fun.
Pong and
Frogger. There was Frogger.
Yep.
No,
not bad list. I mean, I can't argue that. I think Sega 1 and Nintendo 2 are the two systems that I know growing up mashed on a lot. PlayStation, of course, mashed on that one a lot. But yeah, so no, I like that list. So final thoughts, Tim.
Oh, it was fun. I like doing this. If people are watching and they've done their math, they understand who the final 7 teams are for next week. I've purposely held off some huge names, and people are looking out. Where's the Cowboys? Where's the Packers? Where's the Bears? The Dolphins. They're there. The Jets, I believe, is on that list too. So they're there.
All right. So tonight, you'll see these two faces again, along with Kevin Cherry and Crispy Bacon, as we break down, recap week 2, break down week 3 of the NFL season on Primetime Blitz. If you didn't see it yesterday, I finally have my sit-down interview with Coach Cody and the 2-0 St. Paul Bears as they prepare for week 3, their home opener. They're pumped, they're hungry. I think that's their model is we're hungry. Let's go feasting. If you watch some of their games, they get late starts, but they get that one big play and bam, they're right back into it. So can't wait to see week 3. Entertainment hour on Fridays. We're still working on some details on playoff baseball show coming back. Got Between the Ropes with myself, Crispy Bacon, and Cherry. Kevin Cherry talking about wrestling.
Yes, right. Kevin's Cherry.
Yeah, Kevin's Cherry. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. We'll see you later today, but
We'll skip later today.
Yeah, we'll see you next week on C2C Rankem. Have a good one.